Trooper Ben's with us, and I know that he's a public information officer.
I'm in the central part of Kansas, and my job for the Kansas Highway Patrol is to go put out safety information, to be that PIO, the public information officer for North Central Kansas, 18 counties, and there's 9 of us across Kansas that are state troopers that do the same thing. They call us here in Kansas the Tweeting Troopers. That's our title.
So I understand what that is. Just give us a little bit of a flavor, just a short version of what you do.
Well, I mean, the PIO, Public Information Officer, so my job is to always interact with the media, if it's the radio, television, newspaper, as well as to educate and advise the public of situation that's happening. You know, just a year and a half ago, we weren't on Twitter. It was interesting to listen to others talk about how they're late to the game and how they're relating late to Twitter, and we are only a year and a half into it here in the Kansas Highway Patrol. But in that year and a half, it's been amazing how quickly we have drawn followers, how much activity and benefit we've gained from being on social media. What I tell people is that, you know, we have to be where the public is at. And in today's society, people are in their devices. They're looking at their devices all the time. Any moment of pause where they're sitting and waiting for something to play out, if they're in an appointment, waiting for the doctor's appointment or whatever it is, they're sitting there and they're typically with their device out and they're looking through their feed, if it's Twitter, Facebook. And it's important that we as law enforcement are part of that. We're in that arena and we're able to tell the story that is playing out in our own community compared to allowing someone else to tell the story about what the Kansas Highway Patrol or what your law enforcement agency is doing. Before, we were silenced. Before, we allowed the public or the media to be able to tell the story of our activities. But now we are actively involved in them discussions and putting out information and making people aware of what they need to be aware of, you know, on a daily basis. You know, right now in Kansas, it's a big deer season. Deer are moving like crazy across our state. We have a lot of car versus deer wrecks. So to make people in focus, to make sure they're paying attention for that. Or tomorrow is Halloween. So Halloween, everybody is going to be out trick-or-treating and making sure people are aware that, you know, the kids are safe, they're dressed appropriately, but then the motorists that are driving around are in tune and focused for these little kids that are going to be running around, sometimes running across streets, not paying attention to traffic. So giving out them reminders, being educational, being entertaining, because you can't just simply put out a post that says wear your seatbelt. There has to be something there that gives some interaction. If you just simply post wear your seatbelt, people won't do anything with it. They won't retweet it. They won't like it. They won't share it. But if you put, I'll use the example, put a donut with a seatbelt running across it or something like that, a person's going to say that's funny, and they'll share it, and it'll broaden that discussion that I want people to see, which is safety and awareness. So
Zeb,
it's definitely been good.
Tom, can I just ask you to watch out for deer patrolling
Bushy
around
Park.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Kingston.
Richmond Park, we've got a massive deer population.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's there. Oh, right. Okay. So who's got the most
Really?
Kansas or Kingston?
They're
Oh man, I know that right now, you know, across Kansas, if you look at the whole state of Kansas, right now about this time we work probably, if I was a guessing person, probably close to 70 car versus deer wrecks a day right now across the state of Kansas. A day, yes, that's right now, and that number will increase until about November 13th. November 13th is when we have the peak. And when we work the most car versus deer wrecks, and them are the ones that are being reported to us. You know, there's a lot of other car versus deer wrecks where people aren't contacting law enforcement and reporting it. So people need to be aware of just that activity that's playing out right now in our states.